Hey, everybody. It is Miss Motivational Mogul Mindset, Ava Shuri, and you know I'm elated to be back before you guys. I am over this funky sinus infection and cold thingy that's going around for everybody, and it's cold outside. I'm bundled up, but I am bringing you the new. And today I'm going to do a food for your soul quote, but I'm going to go backwards. So if you're going over to my Instagram page or my I am Ava Shuri Facebook page, I'm going, instead of going from the last post to the most current, I'm going to go from the current down to the last place that we stopped the last time I convened with you guys. So thank you for coming over to my YouTube channel. I am Ava Shuri. Thank you for inquiring about me and just little old me asking me how I was. You were waiting for a new food for your soul quote nuggets to be dropped. Just being eager and excited that I'm able to share with you what God shares with me, and also that you're gleaning from that and it's actually impacting your life. That is my purpose. And I don't want to be talking to not be purposeful. I want God to use me in the most profound way and not be selfish and hold it just for myself. So I'm glad that you have got your hot chocolate, your cocoa, your tea, your whatever you got. You're putting your feet up and you ready to go on this journey with me. So I'm going to start with my most recent food for your soul quote that I posted on Instagram, which was, never expect someone who is starving inside to fill your cup. You can break bread with them every day and they'll still leave you for dead with nothing to say. The caption on here is the aha moment when you realize that something has been draining you, or someone, a situation, an assignment, a task, and you have gone over and over in your head, how is this? Why can't you receive with gratitude what it is and who it is that I am to you in your life? Or why can't you receive me with gratitude and thankfulness and appreciation for things that you may have aided a coworker in, or a total stranger, or someone along the line, and you go back and you're just like, why can't you aid me in that support that I've helped you with along the way, that I've broken bread with, because I didn't want you to starve on my post, because I covered my brother and my sister. Find that coveted relationship very sacred, and you want someone to uphold you and nourish you and cherish you the same. And then you start asking the same questions over, and we know the definition of insanity is obvious: doing the same things over, getting the same results. So then you sit back and you're wondering why you off your rocker, or you're wondering why this thing just keeps perplexing you and vexing your spirit so much. But you're asking something that's empty to fill your cup. You're asking something or someone, or trying to get something from someone who is starving, who doesn't have anyone else coming along and nourishing them and pouring into them and sowing into them and filling their cup up with wisdom and strength and power, or praying for them. How can you expect the return? Anything in return? And after a while, it just dawned on me that sometimes as servants and helpers, myself, that's the thing that one, we take for granted and assume that it's reciprocity and it's at the top of priority list for everybody else, and that people would want to be as gracious with you as you are with them and their assignments, their tasks, or if it's just a business association or affiliation, you would hope that they wouldn't starve you from the very thing that you're feeding them on. And also in the caption, you got to stop looking for that support, love, thankfulness, kindness, and acknowledgement and appreciation from those who never give it to you, because they've never gotten it. They've never received it in their life. So ultimately, they're starving you out. Ultimately, you're emotionally starved. You're emotionally drained. You're mentally starved. You're mentally drained. You're emotionally and mentally bankrupt. All of these things are taking up residence inside of you, inside of your mind. Over and over again, you're trying to process what it is that you can do better and greater for this situation, how it is you can achieve those goals on that job, how it is you can make your boss see you for who you are, your great strides and your impact and your accessibility that you've given to this corporation, and that you're an asset to him. How it is that you can do that in your family, as a mother, as a father, as a head of the house, and you're giving to your kids, and you're making sure that their cups are filled and that there's food on the table and their needs are provided for. How it is that you're in a relationship and you keep pouring and pouring and pouring, you're outpouring, and people just think, oh, she's just going to continue to pour because that's what they like to do. And they like to be depleted. They like to be empty. They like to be bankrupt, because they don't understand, and nor have they yielded to the fact that we have never poured back into her. We have never poured back in him. Your bosses never came by and gave you a pat on the back and said, congratulations, nice job, kudos, acknowledgement. And yes, people will say you don't live by man. You don't worry about what man says. You don't worry about getting the approval of men. That is also true. But you are also human and you have feelings, and God placed that servitude in your heart. It is a reciprocity, and kindness does matter. We have not to surround ourselves with the people that lack compassion and empathy for others and that are so starved in the inside that they don't mind starving you as well, because they're incapable of filling your cup at that time, because they won't move out their way of starvation and into their way of abundance, of fruition, of manifestation. They just walking and operating in, oh, well, I got over it. I dealt with that. They don't do that to me, so you'll get used to it. They would prefer you to get used to being starved with your stomach touching your back and your emotions lacking because you need your cup filled, and they just expect you to bounce back and be resilient with no power, no strength, and no authority because you have no nourishment. So the reason that you are breaking bread with people who will leave you for dead is because they're starving. Your expectation is coming from someone that's starving inside. We're not talking about physical food. We're talking about spiritual food. We're talking about spiritual groundedness. We're talking about spiritual beliefs and values, the love, the compassion, God's love, Christ's love. We're talking about someone who couldn't, if you're breaking bread and y'all have one piece, you need to sow into people that'll take the edge around that bread. And y'all can both penny pinch off of that bread and maybe roll it more and get more pieces. And then if someone else comes along, you don't mind breaking bread because he's going to put into how we manufacture and sow seeds back into the ground to produce more bread. And we're going to continue. And then all of a sudden, our prayers and our faith and our support in one another and our prayers and our petitions will be answered. And things will start to manifest based off the seeds that we've sown. But if you don't have any manifestation and all you have is depletion and all you have is starvation in a situation, it's not proper. That's not process. That is setback. And that's exactly what that food for your soul quote meant. So be mindful of who you're breaking bread with and your expectation for somebody who's starving to fill your cup. Be mindful of the positions that you place people in that are not qualified or don't desire to operate in the fullness of. Be mindful of that, because we don't want to continue to be let down, and we don't want to continue to let ourselves down believing otherwise. You do what you can do, and you do what your spirit and your heart tells you to. But when you find yourself so weak and broken, and you can look around and there's no one to fill your cup, give you sound advice, we always have prayer. We always have God, because he would never leave us or forsake us. You stand on his promises and you believe. But if you're depleting yourself with the majority of people that are starving, or if it's someone so close to you that is starving, that impacts you. That transference impacts you greatly. Or if it's a job that you have expired in your years there of servitude, and they can't even fathom even acknowledging the accomplishments and the strides you've made as a collective body, you have to make the decision to walk out on that same faith and expect God to do a great thing in you because of the decision of being obedient. Until next time, God's love and God's peace to you all. Ava Sheree.